What's up everyone, my name is Brent and welcome to Wicked Minis. I got another tutorial for today because we finished up all the ultramarine videos on how to do the whole combat patrol box. So I have all those videos that you can look up on my channel. This one here is actually putting on the insignia decals on those ultramarines and how I utilize micro set and micro sol, and I'll make sure that those products are in the link in the description below. And they are a fantastic product and you don't really need a whole lot of it, but those two bottles should last you for a very long time. But that one in this video here, it'll show all the things that I was using for cutting out the little decals that you get in the boxes when you're putting your miniatures together, and how to place them on your miniature and make them look really nice, and then with the solvent and everything kind of melting away that satin look on those stickers, so they just don't look like a glossy sticker that you actually put on the miniature itself. It actually looks like you actually painted them on there. So please watch the video, enjoy, make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and enjoy the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
Alrighty guys, I am here to kind of walk you through what I'm planning on doing. I think it needs a little bit of explanations there. I was showing the miniature. Those are the decals that you can get from GW or when you're buying GW boxes. You can see I have an X-Acto knife. I am cutting out what I need. And as I was showing in that video too, I just get a paper towel, get it nice and wet, start squirting a little water on top of there so it can kind of start soaking up and loosen up that sticker. And then that's what the first bottle is, that micro set. So the micro set is the first thing that you're going to put on top of that miniature. These miniatures are already varnished, and that's probably a good idea because if you have a wash on there, sometimes a micro set will actually move your wash. So I always put the micro set a little bit on the shoulder pad there, and then I'm just taking the brush just slightly easying it off of that little sticker pad there, and then you just kind of place it right on there. Move it around to where you want to put it on the center. These are the things that always bug me the most out of everything, because I normally get it to where I want it to be, and then all of a sudden it shifts off because I got a little too much micro set. And then if you do need to move it around, just put a little bit more micro set onto the shoulder pad or what the area you're going to have, and move it to where you want it to be. As you can see, I got to start using my finger just to try to get where I want. At this stage here, that's fine to do. Once you start getting into the next, the micro sol, probably not a good idea to start touching it because the decal will start getting thinner and it'll be a little bit more delicate and it might tear. So right now I just kind of have it right there, and as I let it sit, and then now we got that micro sol. Normally I'll put the micro sol after that micro set is all dry. So that micro set's all dry on that shoulder pad. Now I'm going to start applying that micro sol right on top of it. Okay, that micro set puts it kind of right where you want it. The micro sol, now you're going to sit there and start dissolving that little shiny coat that they have on those stickers. And then also, you see how I'm brushing it on there? I'm brushing it because it gets little wrinkles, and I'm trying to push all the bubbles all out of it. So you just and you'll see it. They're like little tiny little bubbles that'll be in there, or little wrinkles, because it's folding over a curved surface. So I'll do it once, and then I'll let it sit and dry again, and then now we're going to go up and hit the micro sol again on top of it. Now you're probably going to do this probably 2-3 times. Just depends on if you got all the wrinkles out, because this is really softening that decal, so you're going to be able to kind of press it down a little bit more each time that you apply this, and then you're just going to kind of press those air bubbles out and press those wrinkles, and it'll start smoothing itself out. And once it's all nice and smooth and it looks good, then just leave it be, and then that will finish it up. And then you can see I actually have multiple figures that I've been doing. At the same time, why not? Well, of course, this one here is pretty bad because I have this kind of off camera because I'm being a silly person and not looking at my camera when I'm recording. There, now I'm giving you a nice zoom look on that. See, now you can see that the shine is actually gone off of that off the decal, and it's all nice and smooth, no wrinkles or bubbles in there. And then here's another example. I'm taking this Terminator captain, and he has the little shields all over his the two front shields on his chest. So we're kind of using the little decals that are on here. I'll be making another video on how I do my freehand stuff, but right at the moment I'm just kind of showing you guys we can do it on these little small ones too. And I'm always trying to go and getting that paper towel wet so we can get the decals coming off there properly. Then we're get back again at the micro set. This is what you use first. A little micro set on both of those. And then I'm just using it with a brush. You could use some tweezers if you want, but I'm always worried about tearing them. And then this one here shows a perfect example of what happens when you put too much micro set on there. And I had to wipe off that brush and try to suck up some of that. And then sometimes it likes to stick, and then I made a dumb decision of using that little brass rod to move it, and that's not okay because you can kind of tear those. So I don't recommend doing that, even though that I did show that. Don't use stuff like that. Normally use like the back end of your brush if it has a real small tampered end there, and then you can kind of move it around there. Some blunt object, nothing sharp. That little top piece right there, and just trying to smooth it out. Get a little bit more micro set on there so I can get them to move around. There, see, now I'm starting to be smart, and I was using the back of that brush, and that's probably a good way to do things like that. And then these ones are how you get the little cool little decorative pieces so you don't have to paint them on there. And then the little writing so you don't have to scribble any lines on it. Makes it kind of clean, makes it look nice. Every time I'm trying to move those decals, anytime that you're planning on moving those decals, always put a little micro set on there so you can get some movement out of it. And there be the final gig on that one. That one worked really good there. Now you got all those cool little writings and everything like that. Next one here, I'm going to show on the on this Librarian Terminator on the knee pad. So we're going to put one of those little small Ultramar insignias right on his knee pad. So you can put them in like any shape or form. I figured I'd give you enough examples of where you can place them, and they all work the same way. Again, these are all varnish coated because I didn't want any of my paint to move, inks to move, or anything I was doing, so I varnished everything beforehand before I started applying the micro set on there, because it does have a tendency of moving that oil washes and inks and stuff that you have on there. So again, now we're going to start dipping into that micro sol, and I'm trying to be a little dangerous here and keep it in a really up close view, which is always hard to record when I do stuff like this because sometimes I can view off camera. But this one here, I'm just going to show you that micro sol because it's so shiny of those decals, and this stuff just melts it away. It's such a great product. Highly recommend it. Showing that insignia right there. Putting a little bit more because I was starting to notice that it was still a little shiny. So we're going to put some more micro sol on there just to kind of dissolve that glaze that they have on those stickers. And of course, oh, there we go. See, I was looking at the camera this time, making sure that that was good. So yeah, put it right on that little knee pad there, so we have a little gold Ultramar on that Terminator. There, I was giving you a little showing of what they look like. And then now, after everything that you've done with the micro set, micro sol, those things are all nice and dry. We're going to start doing a varnish. I like the Mecha color from Vallejo, and it's a matte finish. So I'm going to put a little bit of that into a little petri dish there. And then I'm going to take a little bit of this airbrush thinner just to thin it down. Just makes it where it could dry a little bit faster. You can go without, but I like doing it super thin. Big time I like doing it thin is because you see all the bubbles that are inside that thing. So really kind of squeeze out those bubbles from the brush. Gently apply it on the shoulder pad and just making sure that there's no varnish bubbles when you're brushing it on. When you're doing an airbrush, no big deal. But if you're doing an actual brush and brushing varnish on, just make sure you just get it all nice in one area. And make sure that you can, and if you see bubbles starting to form, just make sure you just kind of pull it off of those, because once it dries, the bubbles will still be there when they dry. So I'm just trying to give you a bunch of examples of me just putting it on there, just all brush stroking in one direction if you can. And you always see me like kind of twisting it around, just making sure that there's no bubbles, because there can be sometimes real hard to see because it starts getting clear on those shoulder pads, so you gotta kind of look. So this probably kind of wraps up everything that you need to do to get the decals on. I really do appreciate you guys watching this video. Make sure that you like and subscribe. I really do appreciate you watching this. But this is pretty much the simple way of putting decals on. The next video I'll be doing some freehand work just in case you don't have decals. That'll be coming out here soon. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Till next time.